नमः सर्वेभ्यः सुस्वागतम्।
नमस्ते महोदय।
नमस्ते। अस्तु, प्रारम्भं करिष्यामः। अद्य प्रार्थनामेव करिष्यामि, तदनन्तरं पूर्ण पाठयितुं गमिष्यामः। अस्तु। ॐ गणनान् त्वा गणपतिं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणान् ब्रह्मणस्पत आनुशृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनं श्रीमहागणपतये नमः। ॐ प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवती धीनामवित्र्यवतो आनो दिवो बृहतः पर्वतादा सरस्वती यथा गन्तो यज्ञं हवन् देवी जुजुषाणाकृताची शग्मान्न वाचमुषति शृणोतु श्रीवाग्देव्यै नमः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। नमः सर्वेभ्यः। अद्य कक्षायां सर्वेभ्यः सुस्वागतम्। अद्य नूतन पाठं पठिष्यामः। अस्तु वा? तदनन्तरम् अभ्यासमपि करिष्यामः। किञ्चित् दशपदानि सर्वेभ्यः लिखितवन्तः इति मन्ये। आनीतवन्तः वा? उत्तमम्। राज महोदय इस् कान्फिडेंट। अस्तु, दश शब्दाः असन्ति। तदर्थं श्रुतिलेखनम् अन्ते करिष्यामः। अस्तु वा? So we will begin the class today with दृश्यते किल? ओके, उत्तमम्। एकवारं पुनस्मरणं करिष्यामः। अक्षराणि दृष्टवन्तः। मुख्योच्चारणस्थानानि, संज्ञापदानि, सर्वनामपदानि, पदान्त, अकारान्त, इकारान्त, उकारान्त। अथ पुल्लिंगे दृष्टवन्तः। आकारान्त, ईकारान्त स्त्रीलिंगे दृष्टवन्तः। तदनन्तरम् अकारान्त नपुंसकलिंगे अपि दृष्टवन्तः। इदानीम् अद्य क्रियापदानि अथवा तिङन्ताः अर्थात् किम् इति पश्यामः। तदनन्तरम् एकः सुविचारः अपि करिष्यामः। तदनन्तरं किञ्चित् अभ्यासं कृत्वा कक्षाम् अन्तिम करिष्यामः। अस्तु, क्रियापदानि अर्थात् किम्? Anybody who wants to answer this? What do you mean by a Kriya Pada? You can either raise your hand or unmute and
It's an action word. It's verb.
it's an action word or a verb. Astu Uttamam. Any other definitions? Anything else? Astu Chinta Nasti. We will go by that.
So
So,
this is also will have present tense, past tense, present continuous.
so any action will have its own tenses and moods. Lakaraha. So you can have a past tense, you can have a present tense, you can have a future tense, you can have a past participle, present continuous, and you can also have noun forms of the word.
Okay.
Correct? Just like the action of seeing. If I'm seeing something, then I can also, instead of saying I'm seeing, I can say I am the seer. Right? So you can get that. So let us see how do we get these Kriya Padas in Sanskritam. It's a very, very critical aspect. So one thing before we move on to Kriya Padas, I think there was some confusion regarding the homework setup. There was a homework given on Sankhya and Natvam in the last class, correct? So it's okay, you don't need to do it right now. If you can postpone that part when we cover Sankhya and when we cover the Natvam rule. There is no need for you people to actually do it. We have not yet covered it in the class. We'll do it in 2 classes from now. Okay. So that is one thing. And going forward, we'll probably see that we'll only have some overlap. If there is any other problem with the homework, please reach out to me, or if you have not been able to do the homeworks. All right. Okay. So coming back to Kriya Pada, there are, so Sanskrit it takes a very, very strong position. Everything, it has a very strong rooted position that if you do not need to indulge in any action, then there is no need for a language at all. It's as simple as that. Sanskritam takes a very strong position. If you are all alone in the world, if you don't need to do anything, then you don't need any language, you don't need anything. It is just like saying, if there are rules that exist in the RTO or the traffic department, you don't need to know any of those rules. You don't need to know which side of the road people drive or what do people do if you don't ever plan to drive. Right? So that is the strong position that Sanskritam has taken. And this has been throughout, and that has worked very well. Now, why has it worked very well? What Sanskritam does is, it defines a set of ways in which words can be actionable words can be derived. There is another way in which the Sangya Padas or the Nama Pada can be derived, which we will talk sometime later. At this point, I don't want to confuse you, but this is very important concept. So I want to cover this upfront straight here. Kriya Padas, very clearly Sanskritam takes the view that there are definitive set of actions that can be done in the human or in this world that we know. And those actions will come from certain roots. These roots are what are called dhatus. Dhatavah, dhatu. Okay. There are close to 2250 dhatus. Give plus or minus 10, 20, depending on which what reference of Panini or Lagu Siddhanta Kaumudi or Siddhanta Kaumudi or whatever you are taking. Okay. There is nothing outside of this from where an actionable thing is derived. Anything that is actionable is derived out of these 2250 dhatus. Very, very clear position that Sanskritam has taken. Even the modern day action, how much ever action you want to indulge in, I can even say I am doing tankanam, tankayishyami. That can also be very easily derived using one of the dhatus there. Okay, so tankanam is typewriting. Typewriting did never, or typing, that never existed any time in Panini's time or even before. So even that word can be derived out of any of these 2250 dhatus. That is the position Sanskritam has taken. Okay. Now, and there is also what is called a concept called pratyaya. Pratyaya is nothing more than a suffix. Now, these pratyayas are not not necessarily related to only dhatus. Pratyayas can be anything. Suffixes can be universal. You have what are called upasargas, which are basically prefixes. You have what are called pratyayas, which are called suffixes. Simple concepts. Okay. Now, there is one particular pratyaya which attaches with this dhatu. One particular set of pratyayas, or one particular set of suffixes that attach with this dhatu, any dhatu, and then makes it a actionable word, padam. So that is what are called ting pratyaya. Can you all see this? Ting pratyaya. Now, ting pratyaya consists of two key aspects. One is a vikarana pratyaya and akhyata pratyaya. Now, I'm getting into this a little upfront. I know it can be a little over the head. Bear with me for a few this one, because all of us at some level, in some point in time in Sanskritam classes or elsewhere in school, we have all studied patati, patata, patanti, patasi, patata, patatha, patami, patava, patama, and all such things. At some level, we have at least heard them at somewhere, right? I'm only trying to get why some things come like that. Why do we need to know them that way only? That is all. So, there is what is called a vikarana pratyaya, which is an optional part. And then there is a akhyata pratyaya, which is a compulsory part. Together, they form what is called the ting pratyaya. Okay. A kriyapada is a combination of this dhatu with a ting pratyaya. I'll give an example and showcase how this comes about. All right. So don't get yeah. For example, all of us have heard of pathati, right? What is pathati?
Reading.
Read. Right. Now there, very clearly, the meaning, read. Rakhi Madhya just said reading. Now there is a read part and an ing part to it. Right? Pat by itself strictly means read. It does not need pathati. Pathati is only going to make it, give it a tense form and make it a padam, make it a word, usable word. That is all. The moment I know pat, I know that there is an action of reading going on somewhere. I don't need to think so much, anything beyond. Okay. Similarly, I can say gum. What is gum?
Go.
Go. Go.
What is the word?
Go. Going somewhere. Okay. So I can just make out by knowing the dhatu that what is that thing going on. All right. So that is the power of Sanskritam. There are 2,250 dhatus that have approximately somewhere around that range. So take it between say 2,200, say 30 to 2,260 or some range like that. Okay. So that's how narrow the range is. Dhatus are there, which if you know them, they're all the actions that are being performed. All right. Now, for instance, there are many more things that I can do. If I want to say teaching, now that will also come just from the patadhatu. The act of teaching is defined as reading being read by somebody else to you. Okay, that's where it becomes patayati. Correct? So only thing that I need to do now is I need to know this dhatu. I need to know how to transform this pad dhatu into whatever forms I want. Anything related to reading, I can fully derive out of this pad dhatu. This is my core dhatu. Okay. This is a very, very important concept in Sanskritam. Because every time we want to do some new action, we don't go about looking for a new dhatu or a new verb to get it or somewhere else. And this is where somebody's question stands. Why have other languages not influenced Sanskritam and why have we not added too many words into Sanskritam? Because we have such a vast level of everything that is there, anything that exists on this planet is there for some action to be performed. It has some work, it has some role, and that role can be derived out of these 2,250 roles that have been defined in some way. Right? Hence, the need for some other language to influence and add on words to Sanskritam becomes very, very little. Now, the Sangya Pada are quite different in the sense that there are indefinite number of Sangya Padas can be derived, and then each one will have a different derivation. We'll look at that in some future classes. Somewhere we'll look at it. But the actionable part that comes is very clearly here. All right. So, these thing pratyaya themselves will take 9 forms or 18 forms. We will see how these 9 forms are there. Okay, we are not going to get into too much of Vyakarna. So, don't worry, I'm not going to make you experts in with Panini grammar. But I'll just, I'm not going to get into how pat becomes pathati or why a and t only need to be added. There are rules why only a and t need to be added to pat dhatu, but we are not going to get there. But what we will see is what are these 9 forms or 18. Oh, we'll see the 9 forms for now. 18, the other 9 forms we'll see in a few different classes. Okay. Now, and somebody spoke about tense and moods. Correct? Now, that's an important concept. That's an overlaid concept on the pat dhatu. That is as much as another pratyaya getting added, which is all in the class of pratyayas called ting pratyaya. Right? So when I say these 9 forms, all these will relate to one tense or one case, one mood, that's all. Past tense or present tense or future tense. Okay? And this is how this is what it takes. How does it change? 3 of them are Purusha Bhedaha. Purusha Vedartha Vedarte Kim Prathama Purusha. It takes, that is the third person. Somebody, we are referring to somebody. So when you have to define somebody's actions, that is the third person you define. 99%, more than half of it are either that somebody or yourself. Correct? That is where we land in most of our conversation or in our transactions. Right? That is the Prathama Purusha is in somebody, for somebody else. Uttama Purusha is referring to yourself or myself, basically, what I am doing or what all of us together are doing. Right? That is the first Praveda. The next one is Vachana. Here it takes a strong concept of 3. It is not just singular and plural. It takes singular, dual, and plural. What is called Ekavachana, Dvivachana, and Bahuvachana. Okay, we will see why Dvivachana is very important, but yeah, okay, there's a typo there. It should be Raswadvi, not Dvi. Pardon me for that. I'll try to change it and send it over. Okay. Dvivachana and Bahuvachana. Astva. One very important thing to remember here, the Kriya Pada by itself, unless used in the form of unless used in the noun form, a verb transformed into a noun, it does not depend on the gender. Linga Vedaha Nasti. Okay. This is very similar to English as well. Okay. Any questions so far? Any thoughts, questions?
So when you say Bheda, that means it pervades.
It pervades, correct. So how do I distinguish, say, for instance, a third person from myself? Correct? Or how do I distinguish a single person doing committing an action and 2 people doing the same action versus multiple people doing the same action?
Okay.
Right? Here, what we need to remember is who is doing the action is not dependent on whether it is a female, male, or a neutral gender object, neutral object neuter object doing the action. Correct? Very similar to saying, I am saying, unless you know who that I is, then you don't have any this one, right? Similarly here also, or you are doing that action. Then it's a conversation between, I know that it is between only you and me. So that is Madhyama Purusha. That is the second person. Any other questions?
You say Kriya Pada has no Linga Beda. Okay, okay.
Ah.
Okay.
Any question, any doubts around that, Mahodaya? Narayan Mahodaya? Okay. So you agree with that, no? Narayan Mahodaya?
Yeah, yes, correct. I got confused. Okay, correct.
Okay. Now, here as we saw, there is a dhatu, there is a pratyaya, and together they take the form of this. Now, having said that, linga vedaha na santi, but still there are tenses, right? What are called lakaras? There are multiple lakaras that can be defined. We can define that in n forms. Okay, we'll look at all those lakaras going forward. For now, for the next 2-3 sessions, we will first familiarize ourselves with what is called a basic present tense. Let's live in the present to begin with. Then let's go to the future, past, and let's continuously keep doing and all those things. We can keep on going. All right. So let's start with basic, this one. So, yeah, okay, before we get there, now, why is it called the Tiganta? I hope everybody is clear on this. Why is it called the Tiganta? No, because it is a ting pratyaya that gets attached to this dhatu. So end, anta, ting plus antaha, tigantaha. Okay, tigantaha. Now, one more thing. How does this tiganta comes? The ti is actually an abbreviation for the present tense. First, this one way akhyata pratyaya, which happens to be ti. Okay, so all class and everything that is related to tenses, forms, everything, they said, okay, ting. So ding, I'm sure something must have blown inside and they said ting. That's it. And it glows as ting pratyaya, that's it. So take it as tiganta. Wherever you see tiganta, understand that to be an essentially a kriya pada that takes is being described. Okay, it's a tiganta. You also have one more pratyaya which takes the form of what is called subanta, but we will, as I said, we will discuss that later. Deliberately, I have not taken that because it would confuse in the early class itself. So I did not want to take it. Okay. So this is how Tiganta comes. Okay. Okay. Here, let's take this pat dhatu. I have this here as pat dhatu. I know that there is some action of reading. If I have to qualify it and use it in any sentence, I have to give it a tense. When is that action happening? First of all, I need to know whether it's in the present, whether it happened, or it is going to happen, or it is continues to happen, or it happened for a long time in the past. I need to qualify all those things. Right? So for that, then I need to know who is that. Is it one person reading? Is it that many people are reading? What is happening? Right? For that purpose, I define this as pat dhatu plus that tiganta, this thing. This is the same thing which comes and just joins here, makes it pathati. The same thing pratyaya for the dvivachana again. Sorry, this is a typo. It should be rasva, not dirgha. Okay. This in the dvivachana, this te transforms to taha. But it's still a thing pratyaya only. The pratyaya still remains thing pratyaya only. Okay. And the dhatu still remains pat dhatu only. Neither of them have changed. Just that the form it takes is pathataha. Pathataha. Okay. In the bahuvachana, same thing. Patha dhatu. It takes the form anti. A is the vikarana pratyaya. Nti is the akhyata pratyaya, making it pathanti. Similarly, if I go to madhyama purusha, madhyama purusha is tvam. Please don't use please don't confuse this madhyama purusha and use this for bhavan. Bhavan will still take prathama purusha. If you are using bhavan or bhavati, strictly use patati, the prathama purusha usage only. Bhavan gacchati va, bhavan patati, bhavan gacchati, bhavan khelati, all those things you can say. Bhavan, bhavantau, bhavantah. So bhavan pathati, bhavantau pathatah, bhavantah pathanti. Okay. Or I can say balakah pathati, balakau pathatah, balakaha pathanti. Okay. It needs to qualify in terms of vachana and purusha strictly. There is no compromise on that at all. Okay. Now when it comes to you, tvam, yuvam, yuyam. I can say tvam pathasi, you read. Yuvam pathatah. It goes only with the tvam. It does not go with anything else. Everything, excuse me. Most of the third person will, all the third person will go with the prathama purusha only. Yuvam pathatah, yuyam pathata. Okay. So, in fact, I can even discard the tvam, yuvam, and yuyam, and I can directly say, this is the power of Sanskritam. I'm just showcasing you the power of Sanskritam here. No other language can do this. Pathasi, pathatah, pathatha. If I just say pathasi, I know for sure I'm referring to you. I don't need to qualify it with another tvam. Now this is very, very critical because last week we saw I said, 32 syllables I should be able to compose shlokas. So
Very,
you see,
one thing,
I have
incidentally, I'm talking you, this I, Uttama Purusha, Aham Brahmasmi. It's a very, well, Asmi is very important there because Brahman is me. What you call I. It is, I is very, very important. Asmi. When you just say Brahmasmi, it is understood it is referring to me, I. Just incidentally I'm talking.
So, Mahodaya, there the aham refers to the differentiating the ego. There's a lot of Vedanta there. So, I will not get into the Vedanta concept. I'm just referring to simple actions being performed in day-to-day life. That aham brahmasmi has a very, very, very deep structure. I can talk about it for 6 months. Okay, you're absolutely right in what you're telling. There the aham is important. But that is, as I said, in terms of Veda and Vedanta, there are certain differences that need to be taken into consideration. But let us say in a general conversation, the moment I say Pathami, it is sufficient for me to say Pathami. Right? Narayan Modaya.
Yes.
There I agree. What you just said, I completely agree. But the point there is that aham is trying to differentiate that super ego with your ego.
Yeah.
Right. So I can talk about that ego itself, differential ego for 6 months.
Just by saying Brahma Asmi, I is already taken care of. I is gone there. I is what you call it. Yeah, another point. Just incidentally I talk. Incidentally.
No worries. But yeah, so just to keep that context, okay. But that is a different context. So that is where that aham becomes important. But otherwise, in day-to-day conversation, it is sufficient if I say Pathami. Narayan Modaya, the same way. In fact, another Mahavakya, Tattvamasi. There also Tvam is very important. It is the Triputi, correct? Whereas if Krishna is telling to Arjuna, what is that? Ashochar Anvashochastam Pragyavadarsha Bhashase Gatasuna Nanushojanti Panditaha. He never used Bhashase is basically this Madhyama Purusha. This one. There that Tvam is never used. Correct?
Ashochar and Nesojastam, Prityawalam Bhatase is written.
So it means that you are the one who is talking. You are talking like a very great Pandita, but then that is not this one. Right? That Tvam need not come there. But in Mahavakyas, yes, that Aham and Tvam have a very, very different meaning altogether. So that those are conceptually different words there. So we'll not get into that detail here. This is, if I convert this into a Vedanta class, then everybody will probably they'll not even already they don't want to. They are feeling strong, so I don't want to get that this one here. Okay. So coming back to this, what this does is it helps me in Sanskritam compose a lot of things by reducing my usage of words. Aham. Aham is 2 syllables, 2 strong syllables. If I go away with 2 syllables, with 32 syllables, if I have to compose a very compact shloka, just imagine imagine the importance of 2 syllables. Right? And if I can reduce 2 to 2 like that, it becomes very critical. Okay. So similarly, this pathami strictly means I am reading. I read. Patavaha means two of us. There are two of us. Who two of us would have been referred somewhere? Or we avam patavaha. Aham avam vayam patamaha. Vayam. Tvam yuvam yuyam. Aham avam vayam. Okay.
Mahodaya, in Pratham Purusha, that will be Saha Taute, is it?
Saha taute, absolutely. Saha taute. But as I said, it can refer to balakaha also. It can refer to balika also. It can refer to any number of things. No? So anything that is neither you nor me is all third person, Prathama Purusha. Phalam patati. Phale patataha. Phalani patati. Correct. So we can go multiple ways to do it. Last week, we also talked about one very important thing. How do you decipher a sentence? Or how do you start making sense of a sentence just by looking at the Kriya Pada? Your whole concept should revolve around identifying that critical Kriya Pada in any, whether it's a Subhashitam, whether it's a Shloka, whether it is a Vakya, any Gadya, Padya, anything that you're reading in Sanskritam, just try to figure out where that Kriya Pada is. Your problem is solved 99% of the times. Okay. Let me show you one example here. Let's do one suvichara. Suvichara. Arabdham uttama janaha na parityajanti. Who wants to explain this? Aparna Madhe Uchitam.
Learned people do not leave halfway what they have started.
Is it learned people? Where does it say learned people?
Uttama janaha.
How did you decipher Uttama Janaha to be learned people?
I thought it is scholars.
Okay. Okay, one definition.
I am not able to recollect what the correct word is.
Okay, no problem. That's fine. Yeah, you have got the meaning more or less there. It's right. How did you arrive at that? It is very inferential, I agree.
Arabdham, I know the meaning. Parityajanti, I guessed the meaning.
Fair enough. So let's now decipher it in a very systematic way. Okay. Now, look at this vichara here. Arabdham uttama janaha na parityajanti. First thing first. As I said, find out the Kriya Pada. The moment I say this Tyajanti, I know it is some Bahuvachana of some third person. Simple. Straightforward. So I have arrived at my this one. So this is speaking about some third person in some set of people. Some set of people in the third person. It is referring to some set of some set of people in the third person. Now, all that I need to know is be able to understand this word. How do I know that? For that, some knowledge of dhatus is required, which says, there is what is called
Tyagna.
Ante I can take out from here because I have already put this in this bucket here. Right. So here parityaj, there is something called parityaj, remaining.
Sacrifice.
Parityaj, correct? Now it so happens that pari is a upasarga. Pari happens to be an upasarga. Now that upasarga of pari, it is usually used to emphasize on something. Upasarga is a prefix, basically. Take it as a prefix. Okay. Now, a lot of times there are many, we'll do a full set of 2 or 3 classes on upasargas only. We have set of 22 upasargas in due course. But for now, take it as pari is a upasarga, which is emphasizing on that dhatu tyaj. Tyaj happens to be my dhatu. What is tyaj? What does tyaj mean?
Sacrifice.
Sacrifice. Tyag. The word tyaga comes from the dhatu tyaj. Okay. Tyajati. So, parityaj is basically emphasizedly saying something that is given up. Sacrificing. Some people do not sacrifice. Who are those some people? I have classified them as Bahuvachana in the Prathama Purusha. So now look for those something who are there in this one. What is that? Uttama Janaha. That is the only thing which is there in the who is capable of, who is actually going for Parityajanti. Uttama Janaha. It doesn't say Parityajanti. It says, it doesn't just say Parityajanti, it says Na Parityajanti. Don't sacrifice. Right? Uttama Janaha. People of high stature. Janaha is people. That much we know. Jana. Janaha, Janao, Janaha. We just saw Akara Anta Pullinga Pada. So Janaha, I can take it very straightforwardly. High stature people, people of high stature, people of high, who are in, somebody said knowledgeable. Yes, they can be taken as knowledgeable. Aparna Modaya said knowledgeable. Okay, that is one way of looking at it. Another way is people of high stature. They don't give up something. What don't they give up? Arabdham. Arabdham. Arabdham is something. Arabdha, we generally in the Indian context, we know this, so we say that it is, whatever is started. Something that is started is not given up by those people of high stature. That is how you can easily derive this whole thing. Does it look to be very systematic? This is the way you can go. You can do your quote unquote reverse engineering of whatever. We are the master. This is why we are masters of reverse engineering everything. No?
What exactly Arabdha? What is the meaning here? Here, what is the meaning? Arabdha, beginning.
Beginning. Who started? Something that is started.
Okay.
You start a work.
Worry is to stress whatever you are doing, is it?
Yes. Parityaj. In between, no matter what happens, you are not
Paripurna is also the same meaning.
Fully Purna.
Some words are so loaded with meaning. Arambha is Sarvarambha Parityagi. Sarvarambha. It is.
Sarvarambha Parityagi Mameshu Sharanam Vraja.
Yes, it is wonderful. It is. Nakarmana Arambha.
Karmana yes. Very good. Gita is like flowing with such very loaded words.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
But
it is all picked up from Upanishads only. All picked up, all these words are Upanishads words.
yeah, they're all used in the Upanishad as well. It's the same language after all. So, but just that, their things can mean a little different. That's all. And Gita is nothing more than a set of Upanishad sayings, mostly derived from Kathopanishad.
Yeah.
So it comes from there. Astu. Okay. So everyone is clear about this concept of Tigantas, Kriyapadani. We'll go further. We'll do a lot of revision. Don't worry. Okay. Okay. Now, I have a lot of things here for people to go about. We can start from somebody who wants to start. Let us see. Narayan Mahoday, Bhavaneva Kriyata.
Pardon me? Me?
You start. You start with what
What means speak? No, I am supposed to do it like that?
yes, what means speak, correct.
Speak. Guy means go.
No, don't go to
Yeah.
guy. No, don't go to guy. For Vadadhatu, give me the Latlakara forms.
What is Vadladu? What will be? Vadami. What you call Vadadi and Vadadaha and Vadandi. Okay.
Oh, yes, right.
Vadasi. Vadami, Vadamaha. I don't know. Like that, I cannot regard.
Madhyama Purusha. You didn't tell the Madhyama Purusha.
Madhyama Purusha is Vadasi. Vadasi will be Vadasi, and Vadadaha.
Right.
Vadadaha.
Vadatha. Correct. Then Uttama Purusha.
Uttama Purusha is Vadami. What you call Vadami, Vadama,
Vadavaha.
Vadami, Vadava, and Vadamaha.
Correct. Correct. Now, form a sentence using patati, vadati, vadataha, vadanti. Can you form a sentence? Each.
What do you call okay. In all the Purushas, all the different Purushas, you mean?
No. Take one or two and just, or in the Pradhama Purusha only just.
Ramaha Vedam Padati Vadati.
Vedam.
Satyam Vadati.
Satyam avi mastu. Ramaha vadati alam. Idani. For now, we'll just start with Ramaha vadati. We'll ask what is telling. We will talk later.
Acha Ramaha Vadati. Ramaha. What do you call Ramo? No, I don't know. I cannot.
Yeah, that's okay. Ramo is right. Use Balakaha.
Balagaha Vadanti.
Balakaha vadanti.
Balagaha Vadanti.
Astu. Okay. Who wants to try next? Titmodaya Karishyati va?
Yes, sir.
You want to try this Gai Dhatu?
Yeah, just a guy
What do you think Gai will mean?
sing.
Sing. Very good. How did you guess that?
I have know it. I have learned this verb.
Oh, okay. You have listened to this. Good.
Yeah. The Prathama is Gayati.
Gayati. It should be
Yeah.
Gayati, not Gayati.
Gayati. Correct.
Gayati, right? Go on.
Yeah. And Gayati. Gayataha. Gayanti.
Gayataha.
Gayataha.
Gayataha, Gayanti.
Yeah. And Madhyama. Gayasi.
Is it Gayantaha or Gayataha?
Gayati, Gayataha, Gayanti. Gayantaha is very different. We will not get there right now.
So the Vivachana is Gayataha. Yeah, Bahuvachana Gayatha. Uttama Gayami.
Gayami.
Gayami. Gayavaha. Gayamaha.
Gayamaha. Can you form a sentence where you say, yeah, use Gayanti and form a sentence?
Yeah. Saha. Suktam Gayati.
We'll just Suktam Mastu. Suktam will talk later. Saha Gayati is sufficient for now. What they are singing, we'll figure out later. Saha Gayati is correct. Good. Okay. Next.
Thank you, sir.
Who wants to go next? Aparna Mohdaya, Karishati va?
Yachati.
Wait, hang on. With Gai Dhatu itself, can you form any other sentence?
Balakaha Gayanti.
Balakaha Gayanti. Uttamam. Or if I were to say
Aham Gayami.
Aham Gayami. Uttamaha. Uttamam.
Ayam Gayamaha.
Ayam Gayamaha. Uttamam.
I do not know for the second Dvivachanam.
Vivachana. Astu. Avam Gayavaha.
Avam Gayavaha.
Balakau Gayataha. Balakau. Okay. Okay. You want to try Yach now? What is Yach?
Asking for something.
Asking for something, seeking something. How did you arrive at that? How did you find that?
Yachakam is
Yachakam. Right. Good. Go on.
Yeah. Yachati. Pratama Purusha Ekavachanam. Yachati. Yachataha. Bahuvachanam Yachanti. Madhyama Purushaha. Yachasi. Yachataha. Yachatha. Yachami. Is it correct? Yachami correct?
Yes, Yachami.
Yachavaha. Yachamaha.
Uttamam. So, Bhavati Yatkimapi Yachati va.
I didn't get you.
Bhavati Yatkimapi Yachati va.
Of course.
So what will your answer be?
aham.
Don't bother about what.
Some word yachami.
Aham yachami. Aham yachami. Aham computer yachami. Aham gold chain yachami. Vadatu. Chitta nasti. Okay.
Eva Samskrita knowledge yachami.
Bhavati Samskrita knowledge yachati. Uttamam. Uttamam. Samskrita gnanam yachati. Uttamam. Astu. धन्यवादाः. इदानीम् अपेक्षा महोदय वदिष्यति वा?
आं महोदय.
कुत्र अस्ति भवती?
गमधातु.
भवती you'll have to start your video, I think. That is a complete spotlight.
Yes.
Okay.
Gama dhatu.
Gam dhatu you can say. Okay. What is gam dhatu?
Going.
Going. Okay.
Pratham purush.
Yes, that's a little tricky. Correct. I agree.
Is it not gach dhatu?
Yeah. So, yeah, now she has given a hint. Aparna Mahodaya has given you a hint.
Yeah.
Now you take it from there. Yeah, but to clarify, the dhatu is not gach, it is still gam.
It's Pratham purush gachati, gachatah, gachanti. Madhyam purush gachasi, gachatah, gachatha. Uttam purush gachami, gachavah, gachamah.
Uttamam. Bhavati kutra gantum ichchati?
Apanikah.
That's okay. Say shop. For now, say shop.
Okay.
So form the sentence.
Balakah vidyalayam gachati.
Balakah vidyalayam mastu idanim, as I said. Balakah take with balakah gachati. Bhavati gachati. Kutra, we will see that kutra later. What will you say?
Balakau gachatah.
No, for yourself.
Okay. Aham gachami.
Yeah, aham gachami. If two of you were there,
avam gachavah.
Avam gachavah. And if all of us were to go as a class somewhere,
Vayam gachamah.
Vayam gachamah. Uttamam. Astu. Dhanyavadaha.
Dhanyawada.
Who wants to go next? Let's go with somebody who is not done. Sangeeta Mahodaya and Preeti Mahodaya. After that, Ishwari Mahodaya, and we'll stop with this one for today, and we'll take Raj Mahodaya as the dictation after that.
क्रीणाति.
क्रीणाति.
क्रीणात् प्रथम पुरुष क्रीणाति. क्रीणातः क्रीणन्ति.
It should be क्रीणीतः.
क्रीणीतः क्रीणन्ति. मध्यम पुरुष क्रीणासि. क्रीणाथः क्रीणाथ. क्रीणीथ. उत्तम पुरुष क्रीणामि. क्रीणावः क्रीणामः
क्रीणामः उत्तमम् अस्तु किं क्रीडितुम् इच्छति वा
अहं लेखनी क्रीडामि
पेन् क्रीणति अहं पेन्
अहं पेन् क्रीणामि
क्रीणामि उत्तमम् बालकः
बालकः क्रीणाति
बालकः क्रीणाति बालिकाः
बालिकाः क्रीणन्ति
क्रीणन्ति उत्तमम्
Excuse me, what is the meaning of Cree?
बाय बाय
Bye.
Bye. Okay.
I didn't get it. What is it?
बाय
Ayya.
Bye.
बाय बाय
Bye.
Bye.
It is not play. It is not play. Play also krida, no? Play. Bala kridati gacchata. Bala kridati gacchatayu. Kridati is play also, no?
क्रीडति is play
Kridati is play. Krinati is not play. Kridati is play. Okay, give me a minute. Yeah, sorry about that. Okay. Krinati is purchase, Narayan Madhya. Kridati is play.
Acha, okay.
Okay. So she was right. Sangeeta Madhya was right. Astu. Who was the other one whom we were talking about?
Sir, I have a doubt. May
Preeti
I?
Madhya. Yeah.
With Cree, the Dvivachan, how does it change? As in Pradhama Purusha, Dvivachan, how does it change?
Krinati.
No. Ekavachan is Krinati.
Krinitaha.
It becomes Ni. Is it? Krinitaha.
Krinitaha.
Krinitaha and Krinanti.
Krinanti.
Okay. Next would be Krinasi.
Krinanti.
And Madhyama Purusha will be Krinasi.
Krinitaha.
Krinitaha. Okay.
Sir, in this, I have a doubt here. How did we get to know Kana? We need to add.
How do we get to know?
We are adding Rana here, right? Krinati, Krinataha. How do we get
that at this point, no, we do not, and we are not getting into those rules here. There is a rule, it clearly comes out. The Ting Pratyaya rules give them, but we are not taking them up at this Varga. This is very basic level that if we get into that level of detail, we'll be doing a 5-year course on Sanskritam here. So for now, what we will do is we will need to remember these and somehow sort of store them in memory by practicing them daily. That's how it will be, Preeti Madhya.
I have a doubt. Yeah. For this Madhyama Purusha, we use say te patataha. Is it right?
Te patataha. No, how will it be right, Madhyama Purusha? It can't be Madhyama Purusha. It will be yuvam pathatah always.
Wow. Is it?
This one, this is what you're referring, no? Madhyama Purusha, the centermost one.
The third one, Bahuvachanam, I was talking about.
Patata.
Patata.
This one?
Yes.
Yuvam, yuyam, patata.
That set I have to get it by heart.
Yes. This part will have to be a bit of committing to memory. That's important. That will be important. This part we will have to commit to memory. There is no other way out here. Because yes, there is a level where we can get to, but the derivations themselves can get very, very tricky at some point. And there are many, many rules and sub-rules and what we call in computer science language as subroutines. Sub and multiple levels of subroutines that can kick in. So, and those, remembering, it is easier to commit a few of these to memory right now rather than remembering those subroutines. Once we have committed all this and once we are comfortable doing this, then we can roughly look at the patterns and start looking at it, and then going to those subroutines will be very easy. All right. So we will do it at
the Kri dhatu madhyam purusah bahuvachana what would be Krinitha.
Krinitha.
Krinami kridavah krinamah.
So there is a very easy way of figuring this out. In fact, let me show you. All you need to do is go to 1 minute. Stop sharing. Go to this place called ashtadhyayi.com. Has anybody heard of ashtadhyayi.com? Nobody has heard of ashtadhyayi.com. Nobody is even aware of ashtadhyayi.com.
Ashtadhyayi we have heard, not Ashtadhyayi.com.
We all know what ashtadhyayi is, but we don't know what.
No, we don't.
Very good. That's a very nice statement. I like that. Okay. At least we all know this part. So I will just show you here. There is what is called ashtadhyayi.com. It is there in this presentation, so you can all refer to it. Go to Dhatu Pata, not Dhatu Pata. So yeah, correct. Dhatu Pata. There is a search here.
What is the site here? Site, can you show us more?
Yeah, it will be there in the presentation, Madhya, that I sent you. Okay. So see, it will give you Kri Dhatu, to buy, to purchase. In Hindi also it is there here. If I go here, I'm sorry, yeah, Krinami, it should be Kriniva, Krinima. I think I said Krinava, Kriniva, Krinama. It should be Kriniva, Krinitha. Yeah, so it should be Krinitha only. Correct. So please change that. It'll give you a very nice format of looking at this. Okay. So it is straightforward, this one. Similarly, if you come across any Kriya Pada, give me a Kriya Pada. Anybody who remembers a Kriya Pada? Any Kriya Pada?
Charati.
Nishyati.
Charati. Let's start with Charati. Correct? Say it comes in Char Dhatu. Charati, Charatah, Charanti, Charasi, Charatah, Charatha, Charami, Charavah, Charamaha. What does this mean? I go to the info here. To go, to walk, to eat, to graze. Finish. And this is a very reliable site, by the way. This is done by Vyoma. We all know that. And for good, they have done it for good. And hopefully for eternity. So we are all contributors to this at some point. So let us hope that things work well. Okay. So you can
These lessons we get to know what you call you put in this one, these worksheets.
What is that?
These worksheets we get to know for studying this one, worksheets.
This
worksheet, what you showed this one we get it for studying all these things.
Yes. As I showed you this one, I will send the presentation to you.
In email, ma'am.
Yeah, in the email. So there you will get this one with it. Okay. Okay. Give me 1 minute. I think I'm losing my internet power for a minute. Let me just plug in my laptop for a minute. Yeah. Am I audible? Okay, thank you. So I will send you this. It is as simple as searching this one here. So it is not going to be very, very difficult for for you to find out what it means. Now, the next 10-12 minutes we'll spend with our friend Raj Mahodaya, who has come prepared with 10 words to give us all dictation. Okay, so I'll stop sharing the screen, put him on spotlight.
Okay. So I have to read out the words, right? One by one.
Okay.
Okay, shall I start? Kridanganam.
Please repeat.
Kridanganam. Next word. Apanaha.
You're not audible.
Apanaha.
Okay. You have started with the first word being Mahodaya is Apanaha, no?
No. First word was Kridanganam.
Kridanganam. Astu.
If everybody is done, the second word is Apanaha. The third word, Karyalayaha. Pitamaha. Pitamaha. Matulaha. Lavanam.
Yavanam, is it?
Lavanam. Lavanam. Nasika. Lalataha.
Could you say that again, please? Can you please repeat?
Lalataha. Next word, Phenagam. Phenagam. And
Please repeat. Please repeat.
Phenagam. The last word, Dinacharya. That's it.
Now, do you have the answer key or do you want me to put it up?
I don't know how to type it. So
No worries. So one of the ways that you can do is you can either, if you can type well and good, if you cannot type, you can write it, scan it, put it up there and then showcase. That is also okay. For next time, whoever is doing it.
Okay.
Take a photograph and then just,
Okay.
So just check if everything is as per your this one. So I want somebody who can give me the meaning of this word, not Raj Mahodaya, of course. And given that Rakhi Mahodaya would have conspired and probably she would have created it, so this one.
The first one is Kridanganam.
There was one more word before. Yeah.
Sorry. So who has not participated today? Ashwini Mahodaya.
I.
Yes, yourself also. Yes.
Kridanganam means playground.
Yeah.
Okay.
Karyalaya is office.
One minute, Mahodaya.
Mahodaya, is that not nam? Na is Kridanganam is
Yeah,
Yes, Raj
Kridanganam.
Mahodaya, tell me.
Yeah,
What
it
is
is na. Na.
it should be, you want this to be the one?
Yes,
Yes.
that's right.
This Kridanganam. Everybody is confident of it.
Yes.
Let's go to Samsadini and check. Yes. Now it will not show Anganam. Okay. Anybody who has actually done the Natvam rule?
done what?
Natvam. There's a Natvam rule. That was part of the last week's homework, and as I said, it is not compulsory for this batch to do it. There's a rule. So why did you make it Nakara here and not Nakara? How do you decide whether it should be Nakara or Nakara?
In the book, it was na. Wherever I picked it.
Which book did you take it from, Mahodaya?
Abhyasa Varga.
Abhyasa Varga book, from the Abhyasa Varga of this is the Rashtriya Samskrit Samsthan, is it? Or
Yes.
No, this is the
Yeah, that's RSS. That's one way, Rashtriya.
Samskrita Bharati.
Astu. Okay, if they have given a Nakara, let's go with Nakara for now. But technically, it can be both Nakara and Nakara.
Okay.
Okay, because the Refa here, Refa is followed by Dakara, not Shakara or Nakara. Anyway, we'll learn that in coming days. Okay, in the few days, because there's a Natvam rule. Okay, fine, no problem. Apadaha, Ashwini Mahodaya Uchitam.
I don't know apanaha, but I can tell other words, meaning of other words.
Okay, Apada is not known. Karyalaya, you tell, and then we'll speak to somebody else.
Karyalaya is office.
Office, okay.
Pitamaha is grandfather.
Grandfather, who? I mean,
And
grandfather.
great grandfather.
No, you are right about the grandfather part.
Pitamaha, fathers like
Maternal.
fathers, not maternal.
Paternal.
It is, what did you say, Mahodaya?
Paternal.
Paternal?
Grandfather.
Grandfather.
Matulaha is mama, maternal uncle.
Right.
Lavanam is salt.
Salt, correct.
Nasika is nose.
Nose, right.
Lalat is forehead.
Lalat is forehead.
Fenakam is comb.
Huh?
I think so.
What is it?
Comb.
Comb. No, it is not comb.
Okay.
So, okay.
Dinacharya is routine, means a whole day what we do.
Okay.
Calendar.
It can also be a dairy. Okay. Calendar. Any of those things which will give it. Okay. No worries. Nilima Mohdaya, Vaktumichchati va? The remaining two.
I also don't know Apanaha. Is it a shop?
Yes, Apanaha is a shop.
Thank you.
Ah.
And Penakam, does it mean soap?
Soap, yeah.
Penakam is soap, yes.
Thank you.
Why is it a soap? How does it become a soap?
It produces foam.
So what is foam?
Bubbles?
Of course it is bubbles, but what is foam in Sanskritam?
Fen.
Pena.
Fena. Fena.
Okay. So foam comes from that word pena. Okay. And there used to be an ad once upon a time, pena hi lena. I don't know how many of us have actually
The name of
remember
the
that
soap.
age.
Pena. Pena is the brand.
Yeah, Pena. No, they took it as a brand, but that is technically in Sanskritam means foam.
Right.
Okay, so that is it. Good. So that's all we have time for today.
Sir, I actually wrote for Matula equal to mother.
Matula equal to mother. Matula equal to mother would be wrong.
Okay.
Matula is necessarily mother's brother.
Okay.
Matulaha is mother's brother, and what happened to my... Thank you all for staying back. I think I lost for some reason, I just wrongly clicked on the meeting this one. So sorry about that. Okay. So yes, Matulaha is not mother. It has to be mother's brother. It is necessarily your mama. Any other questions? Anything else? If you have, what I will do, I will do the Mangalam, and then we can continue for a few 5-10 minutes with questions if you have any. Astu va? Om Swasti Prajabhyah Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahishaha Om Brahmanebhyo Shubhamastu Nityam. Loka samasta sukhino bhavanto. Kale varshatu parjanyah.
Looks like we are the host. Shall I end the meeting? I don't know if sir will join. Okay,
No,
there's a
he's
join.
just joined. Okay.
I have done this one. Mangalam. In any case, anybody having a question can ask.